Yo, what is up, everybody? I'm gonna go over how I made $300 day trading today. Little bit of context here. I just updated my system, um, and by system I mean strategy. Um, I'll inform you about all that, but first off, let me just show you the trade. Right, so I entered at 6958.25. So right around, actually, you guys can see that shit. Right here, I entered a long. Um, I'll show you guys the confluences I used. Little bit annoying. Um, I only took a 1 to 3 RR today. I believe, let's see if we can get this. So stop was like this, 67.25. Stop moved very, very quick to these lows, pretty much right as soon as the trade closed above pretty much this candle. Uh, so um, we entered on the bottom of this candle, it formed, and then right around here I went. So the trade is originally 2.4 RR, but eventually it was a 3.2 RR. Um, it should have been a 3.2 RR to begin with for this trade. Um, so I'll go over the confluences I used and why I took this trade and why I did not hold this longer when I probably could have. Not the full amount, but just a little micro could have, worked in a situation. So let's go over the confluences here. So first confluence, or actually, let's go over this new indicator because this is a confluence that I used for this trade. So this is the Deep V tracker on Deep Charts. And this basically just tracks a lot of the things that I look for in these big bubbles. But this is, more accurate and it's less discretionary. So overall, it's probably a lot better than my own readings of the chart, and it just maps it out very easily. So these are just support and resistance areas, like areas in which there was a strong amount of absorption, exhaustion, slowdown, acceleration. Um, yeah, so this is just a good support and resistance indicator. Basically, just tells you where buyers are willing to aggressively pay at that price and hold that area, and areas in which sellers are willing to basically just sell at you know any given amount of contracts. There's just a lot of aggression here from the buyers from previously, and we had no follow through. So we know the sellers are very strong at this area. Same thing for all these other lines. So these are just support and resistance. No need to really track what kind of support and resistance, but so we had the value area low of the overnight session, and we had a good amount of support right here from this purple area along with this. So I thought this was my zone for the day. So upon open, right, we had this area right here. You can see from the news candle, we went up to this zone. We had aggression here, and we had this line form. So I knew this was going to be a good area for us to reject. So on the market open, I was expecting us to reject this area, and I was hoping for us to come down to this zone down here for my trade because I wanted to get long at this area where there's support. Didn't do a limit order, um, so we'll go over the live confirmations that I used. So it was really simple. We had a lot of sellers here, and this was the zone in which I was looking for. So any selling above here is kind of not really my interest, right? I'm not really interested in, you know, looking at this zone and expecting us to reject and go lower because I know this area should hold if given confirmation, which is what we got. We had a aggressive seller, a big seller come in, um, and failed to put price lower. We started moving higher, so I quickly went on my fundeds. On my trading view, I entered 5 contracts. Originally, I wanted to get 8 contracts on this position. However, on trade or on Top Step, I was only able to get, let's see, I was only able to get 3 contracts there. I should have been scaled up there. Yeah, I really should have been. However, the amount of contracts. My bad. A little bit of a distraction. But the idea was that this was the zone I was looking to get long at. Just waited for any kind of confirmation here. Pretty much anything will do at these kinds of zones, especially because we were below the value area. And I just know if selling is failing below the value area, then it's most likely going to hold and then become the low for the move in which I'm expecting. So, reason why I did not hold this for longer was mainly just due to, let's see. First of all, my RR was a 1 to 3, so I think, yeah, it was around here, and then I exited at 67 or 66.25. Reason was there was a low volume node right around here, you can see, and I just didn't really feel like holding, expecting this node to be inversed, right? Little bit of a mistake from my end, right? But it's a 1 to 3 RR. In reality, had I held this, I think the best spot that I could have taken profit at would have been the POC, 71.75. And you can see that would have been, let's see, that would have been a 5 RR. So I would have made a bit more, quite a bit more, maybe even close to double. But I didn't. I'm a scalper. I'm not an intraday trader. I don't take crazy swings. 8 points is honestly enough for me, especially when I'm only risking, um, 2 to 3 points per trade. Um, a 1 to 2, a 1 to 3 RR is always good to take. And sometimes, you're gonna get crazy trades that you can, really, take. But sometimes you miss them. Today was just one of those days, but it's still a win, so it's fine by me. Um, Originally, TP was going to be a 1 to 1 RR around here. However, once these buyers stepped in, I saw that there was a huge amount of aggressive delta. So I knew that the buyers were heavily protecting the zone. As you can see, usually when these lines form and we interact with them, usually see a lot of big trades come in. Just like in this example, we cross this line and then we have aggressive sellers starting to pile in their positions. Especially right here, we had this area and we stepped in and, the seller started to get aggressive. So right now, also you could see this line right here, This indicator is actually one of my favorite right now. You can kind of see exactly where the absorption is in the market and where the buyers and sellers should fail at certain levels, right? If you're, combining that with a value area low, then you can be almost certain that this area is probably going to hold. Yeah, but that's basically the confluence. We had two context confluences. So we are in the value area and we had the zone in which in which I was looking to see support at. So that's two confluences right there. Third confluence could be this value area right here with this POC, but we didn't get there. That would have been a much higher confluence, and I probably would have scaled in. That could have been the reason why I didn't scale in as much, although I don't think it was. I think this was just a heat of the moment, and I just, I didn't press 5 contracts, I pressed 3 instead. But yeah, I entered 3 contracts on my top step because I was already in a loss of like $30, or maybe I was break even for the day, something around there. And then TP hit, and I think I hit for 90, maybe a little bit more, maybe something like 140 on my top step, something like that. And then on my trading view, I hit for let's see, actually I don't feel like showing my trading view thing, but I hit for 190 on there. You can just do the math, bought here, sold here, 5 micros, it's 190. I'm telling the truth. But yeah, that's about it for today. I mean, this was a very, very good trade. Pretty textbook setup, just trap sellers below the value area low. Not really trapped, but just absorption. Didn't really want to make a video on this, but I just wanted to show off this new indicator that I'm using. And if you guys are using D charts too, I would definitely highly recommend giving this indicator a go, considering I've been using it for literally 2 days now, and it's probably, in my opinion, one of my favorites. It's definitely in the top 3, and it's definitely got a spot for top 1. It's either the imbalance tracker or this one. Volume profile is probably more useful than any indicator combined. So that's obviously going to be number 1. But number 2 is probably going to be between, actually, I don't know, the big bubbles and the imbalances are very, very useful. But yeah, there's the trade, right? Hopefully you guys took the same setup. If you guys were trading ICT today, you guys would have seen, I'm sure NASDAQ sweeped out. Yeah, NASDAQ did sweep that low and hit that support area and the value area low. So if you did end up taking a setup on an inverse, or maybe even you entered right here, right, you would have caught the bottom of the day, and it would have been a great trade for you. But yeah, a win is a win, no matter the size, no matter the RR. Could have been a bigger day for me, for sure, but it's a Friday, right? I'm already in profit for the week. And yeah, I was pretty comfortable with the size, right? 90 plus 190 is 280, so it's pretty much 300 on the day. So it's a pretty good day, and yeah, I think that's about it for today. Right, there's my trade recap. Hopefully you guys took the same trade or took something similar. Hopefully you guys are green for the day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.